The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Wrestling to the Max NXT Review.
I'll take it back, what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me, nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this, shove it back in the faces and say
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling to the Max's NXT review for November 9th, 2017. And we are brought to you by W2Mnet.com, the place where you go find all your great wrestling needs and a lot more. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe, rate, and review when you come find us at Wrestling to the Max, wherever you get your podcast. Maybe you get it on iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, Apple Podcast, or even YouTube. Just hit that subscribe button and make sure you give us some love with that rating and reviewing. Also, don't forget to go give some love also to those guys over at 411mania.com and Last Word on ProWrestling.com. Both are amazing sites. You need to go check them out now. And, of course, I am Gary Vaughan. Along with me is your host, Paul Leazar.
Heyo.
And Paul, we got an NXT that has some more things leading up to this big War Games event that you'll be attending. I'm really excited about it. And, I'm kind of digging this show. I want to talk about a few things they have here. So let's do this thing.
Let's do it. First off, I need to apologize if I sound nasally or anything like that. I have a cold. And if you can hear my fan in the background, that's my humidifier, because that is the only way I can breathe and sound halfway normal right now. So,
hey, that's okay. Whatever gets you through the show, I can't even really hear the fan, so I think we're good.
Okay, good. We opened with Heavy Machinery coming out to squash Sean Malouda and Chris Payne, and I really enjoyed this, actually. I think Heavy Machinery is sort of growing into a fun little act that's, I don't know if they'll ever be anything big, but at least in this they prove that they can have a lot of fun while they're beating people up.
Definitely. And, what blows me away is a guy that size doing the worm. That was fun. And the way they were kind of prancing around a little bit here, it was just, like you that's the perfect definition. Fun. I was about to try to come up with 6 other definitions, but fun, perfect. There you go. It doesn't need to be a great match. What we need here is Heavy Machinery continuing to be there, be in person, and have fun and get us behind him. And I think a lot of people are behind Heavy Machinery, and I know we are. Me and you both love them. They're a callback to the 80s. They're everything that I have really enjoyed about those old WCW days. So I can't wait to see him in a serious match again. I know it's been a while since we had the AOP match with those, two teams tingling it up. But, I'm happy what I'm getting so far with them.
Yeah, I'm not really opposed to it either. They're really fun to watch squash matches that they're in. So, looking forward to more from them down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Ember Moon gets interviewed, and Mercedes Martinez's remarks about her not being able to win the big one were brought up. She challenges her to a match next week. Really looking forward to that. And then we get Billy Kay taking on Kairi Sane. Short little 4-minute affair here. I don't know if the crowd was as into it as I was hoping. Billy looked a little lifeless while she was working the offense, and then Kairi just sort of finishes it up after hitting all of her big stuff. But I don't know. Maybe more for Sane would have been nice here, but I understand wanting to keep the iconic duo looking strong going into War Games.
Really quickly, Ember Moon, they needed to do that just to kind of have, a little bit of feedback into that whole feud, right? It's just now started. I'm glad they at least acknowledged it, not waited 2 weeks before they even acknowledged it. Just happy with that. And the, match that we're about to talk about here with Kairi Sane and Billy Kay, it wasn't the greatest match. And I don't think really necessarily it had to be the greatest match. You just got to be happy that you get a chance to see Billy Kay in the ring, because you really don't get that a lot. They usually get Peyton Royce all the love. She usually gets all the time in the ring, and Billy Kay is usually the sidekick. So it's good that she's able to get in there and you have an opportunity to watch her. Yes, it may not be perfect, but I think at least she got a chance. Kairi Sane, I will say this, the gimmick is still something I'm getting used to. It's something that, is I get it, and she's silly. But this is what I'm appreciating right now in this match. You got a little bit of a spark in what she can do, right? Mm-hmm. All the aggressive stuff that Sean, that many other people on the internet that watch the streaming services and have watched her for a long time, have said, "Oh no, you watch out. She's got a lot of powerful offense. She's aggressive." I haven't seen that in NXT. Didn't really even see it too strongly in the Mae Young Classic, but I think on this episode you got a spark of that aggressiveness, and that's what really cued me in on oh wow, okay, there is something here, I need to pay attention. So at least there was something I got out of this match, and her doing her thing and getting the job done, great. Payne Royce tried to do something, didn't really work out, so I think this is good. I think, you got a little bit of a peek in what could be in store for us for that offense of Kairi Sane, even though it wasn't a lot. It was very minimal, but that minimal really kind of got me excited about the future.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Kairi's great. I know this maybe isn't the best example of that too, but I think you got a good picture of her during the Mae Young Classic for sure. And if you're looking for that overly aggressive stuff, I mean, she comes from a promotion that's very much geared towards building up big singles matches with some story going on. Basically, what you get in New Japan just for women. So they also put a big focus on gimmicks, which I think carried over very nicely here. Even though we don't really know why she's a pirate, other than the fact that she used to drive boats for the national team in Japan. I think it all comes across as she likes to have fun, and then when she gets in the ring, she murders you with that elbow. And that's really all there is. It's not. It doesn't need to be anything too deep yet.
Yeah, it does, and you're right. See, here's the thing, and here's what's awesome about this conversation has become. I am coming from that casual viewer point of view because I've never seen Kairi Sane as Carrie Hojo, right? Mm-hmm. That's her name, right? On the indies, that was her name, Hojo. Correct. Is that right? Yes. Okay, making sure I was correct because I could have called her Viper, and we could have went to that scenario. So let's don't do that. I'm double checking with the expert here. But no, seriously, like I said, I mean, I'm only going by word of mouth what the Japanese side of her career has been about. And like I said, I mean, from what I saw in the Mae Young Classic, it wasn't overly aggressive. It was good, and there were good points, but it wasn't what I expected. I kind of expected a little bit more Asuka coming out of Kairi Sane, and it wasn't, and it didn't need to be that really. I think my expectations are in a different place. But really, do I still think there's a great talent? Yes, I think there's a lot of talent there. I appreciate her work and everything that she's putting into these matches. I really, really do. And hey, if the elbow's the thing, and that's what I need to pay more attention to, that's what I'm going to pay attention to. And I think that we've got something here. I think that the gimmick is a little silly, but doesn't mean anybody else has to think that. That's my personal opinion. But this is early. I will probably grow to love it. I will probably be all behind it. Give it a year. And I'll be, in a year from now, I'll listen to this audio and go, good God, what an idiot. That's perfectly fine with me. So that's how I feel now as of 2017. 2018 may be different.
I'm waiting for WWE to just start giving her water guns and let her shoot people with them.
Ooh, bringing up guns, and that could be a bad situation. Think about all the letters that they would get with that.
It's just water guns. People, come on.
Hey, we live in a very sensitive time right now. So I will say this. Yes, you can let her use water guns, but we'll just have it be fish that are shooting the water out of their mouths with her. There you go.
Moving on before we go down a fishier conversation. Cassius Ohno shows up in William Regal's office. He wants to get back in the conversation for the NXT Championship, and he thinks to do that, he needs to beat Lars Sullivan at TakeOver. And Cassius, it's your funeral, bud.
Just right when you think that Cassius Ohno is getting himself in a point where he's going to start to dominate, he asks for his end. Or ask for a pause on his career in NXT. And that's what you're asking for here. And once again, we talk about this all the time. Cassius Ohno, super amazing wrestler on the indie circuit, has had a pretty good record here on NXT when he's been there the first time and the second time. He's a great talent. Maybe that's part of his job here. is to help that young talent. Like you've mentioned it plenty of times, Paul. That's part of his thing is he's here to help those younger guys, to help get them ready for WWE. And along the way, he's going to get opportunities to probably do some bigger things than he's doing right now. But at this point, maybe that's what he's doing here for Lars. And if that's the case, I am thrilled because, once again, we need to see Lars Sullivan face these guys that are actual contenders for the NXT World Title. We need to see him in these kind of scenarios to see what he can do against guys that, are going to be at that next level. So I'm completely happy with it. I think it's going to be fun to see. I'm really thrilled about it. I do kind of feel bad for Cassius, though, because I keep thinking, when he takes 2 steps forward, he takes a step backwards.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is very much just a way to sort of let at least Lars get in there with somebody very experienced and get a win on a big stage where it's going to be against a name that crowd is certainly going to care about, and it'll matter going forward instead of just squashing people. So I think it's just they're ready to turn the corner from him killing people to killing bigger names, but still getting a beating on the way there,
Yeah, once again, I mean, he's going to actually have to face a guy that has offense.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a different picture for us, and that's good. That's what we need to see, and I'm happy with that. And I guess, a lot of people listen and say, well, really it's not killing Cassius Ohno. Well, no, it's not killing him, but the one thing I will say is I have been ready for a long time for Cassius Ohno to hit that level to where you have that entire NXT crowd just pop like amazingly when he comes out, and for him to be a bigger deal. And I think I'm going to bring something up kind of in the same frame later on when we talk about some more stuff. So I'll save that for then.
Okay. All right. Moving on, we get this wonderful, wonderful video package recapping the War Games match and a little bit of its history and talk from some of the competitors that have been in it, like Arn Anderson and Dustin Rhodes and Booker T and guys like that. So they also bring up how much this match meant to Dusty, as he's the one that created the idea and sort of gave a lot of great performances inside the match as well. And if you watch anything from this episode of NXT, maybe you've never seen a War Games match before, you're younger than Gary or myself, or you never watched WCW, you have no idea what this is, I would watch this video package. It's really great if you don't want to sit down and watch an entire War Games match, which I would recommend you do. They're all really fun. It's just this for sure was wonderful.
I'm right there behind you, man. And, as a fan of WCW, I really dug the idea of them bringing back War Games and, getting a chance to honestly sit and watch this video package, hear these guys talk about it as I watch footage of things I remember back in the day. It just brought so many fond memories back, and it really kind of pumped you up for this match even more. Now, I'm sure the younger viewers or people that have never, ever seen a War Games, they kind of got an idea here from a few guys that they do know. Like, they may know them from WWE, but they do know guys like Booker T, and Goldust, Dustin Rhodes. Guys like that who they may kind of have, a feeling of understanding behind. They can see it through their eyes. So really, really great video package. I mean, it was so warming to see Dusty Rhodes and of course, even Ric Flair, guys that were a big part of those matches. So I was, very, very happy about this. Usually when they give us these kind of video packages, I just kind of want to just skip through it and seeing it. This is one that I almost wanted to rewind and watch it again. So I got to give him props. Good job on this, and, I couldn't be happier.
Totally agree there, so we'll move on to this sit-down interview with Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas as they discuss their upcoming match with Drew McIntyre at TakeOver War Games for the NXT Championship. And there's a lot of questions about their past, their relationship, what exactly the extent of it all is. And basically what you need to take away is that there's a long history here. Vega has known Almas for 7 years. She knows the real Almas, and next week, whenever they do the actual face-to-face between McIntyre and Almas, so will McIntyre. So, I don't know if there's a real ton to get into here, but I will say I enjoy Zelina Vega she, for somebody who can't speak English very well yet, and Almas does sprinkle it in, I think, where he can or where he feels confident that he can. I think Vega sort of taking over the act really works out very well for this whole thing. And I honest to God can't wait for this match at War Games either.
Well, you're completely right about that. And, this is just a great dynamic, right? I mean, we continually talk about the dynamic duo. They work so well together, right? I mean, those two, you break them apart, and I think you do have, great talents, but they may not be at the level of popularity that basically they are now. I think you may not have that same level. And I think the same works here. You see the chemistry, the stuff that really matters a lot of times is, sadly, some of those vocal things that people are wanting to hear, because WWE television in general is based on 50-50 match and speaking. And when you can't speak the language, well, that kind of really screws you out of half of what you're supposed to be doing. So adding Zelina to this picture was the perfect addition. It really puts almost at that second level that he needed to be. He was on one rung, now he got hooked up to the next one. And I think it's a great duo, and I think this interview, like you said, not a lot to really address. This is kind of the same old stuff, but at the same point, I think very important, and I think it was very important that we did have Alma speaking some English. It didn't have to be a lot, and it wasn't, but it at least added something to what she was saying, and it wasn't just her talking the whole time and him looking like an idiot. He looked very well, very like he mattered, if I can say it that way. He felt like he mattered in that, so it was a good promo.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we get this match between Velveteen Dream and Cesar Bononi, and Dream makes his entrance, I think, sort of in a. And obviously he's not quick to walk down to the ring, but it felt like he was trying to mimic Black as much as he could as he walked down to the ring. Basically squashes Cesar in a little over a minute, and is looking forward to TakeOver, where Black will finally say his name. It's a very different tone for Dream, and I kind of dug this.
Yeah, I really bummed because I really wanted to see Aleister Black involved somewhere here. That's just because I'm a huge fan of his, so I would probably want to see him anywhere on this show. But I think this does matter. I think it builds what Velveteen is trying to put across here. He does make fun, kind of mimic what Black does coming down to the ring. And really, honestly, I was a little surprised in the quick fashion he took care of Bononi. I really didn't see that coming. I thought it was going to be more of a match, but it wasn't as much as a match as I really thought. And I think they're trying to put this guy at the level of Aleister Black, at least to make him feel like he's at that level, because, I think for the most part, people are thinking Aleister Black's just going to kick his head off, be done with it. So they are putting him, they're putting the Velveteen Dream in a better light, and for a good reason. So all this worked. And I kind of see where you're coming from. It kind of had that different tone, right? A more of a darker tone than usual by the Velveteen Dream. It didn't have that bubblegum feel or that kind of odd, strange feel. It was more darker. So I think that needed to be done, and they did it, and good job.
Yeah, absolutely. We get another string of promos here. Ruby Riott is still out of action due to that ankle injury that she suffered 3 weeks ago in that qualifying match against Ember Moon and Sonia Deville. She's going to be out another 2 weeks, according to doctors. Sonia Deville shows up and says, "Hey, you should have tapped out, otherwise you wouldn't be in this position, and I'd be on my way to TakeOver to challenge for the women's title." Riott's had enough of her just showing up and basically being a bitch, and challenges her to a match when she's all healed up. So, in 2 weeks, I assume it will be Sonia Deville taking on Ruby Riott.
And it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think Sonya's fine. I don't get overly excited about the matches that she has. And it's not that she's terrible. It's just I still am not in the mode of being like, oh, this is the next big star. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to take a little bit more time. And I think they've tried, and they're still trying to put her on that level. And Ruby Riott's, good at what she does, and I think it really will be a fine matchup. It really will be. It just won't probably blow us away when we see it. So my expectations are not super, super high. I did like a little bit of the development that they were trying to get across here, like, having Sonya talk and actually be in a conversation with somebody else. That kind of worked. I think you still feel a little uncomfortable because I think that's the way the whole thing kind of came across. Very uncomfortable. I don't know if it felt that way to you, Paul, but you could kind of tell she wasn't in her element. She's like, you should have tapped out. Kind of like, instead of more intimidating, it was just kind of like, you should have done this thing, right?
Right.
I don't know.
It was weird the whole way around, too, because I think Ruby said, like, why are you here? What's the point of you being in here right now? Yeah, that was just like, why, Sonia, this is not, no, okay. Oh, okay. Well, that was weird.
Yeah, exactly. It just had that odd feel to it. So it was almost like, Ruby caught her while she was on the toilet,
Yeah.
It felt like that. And so here's the one thing that I think that they need to work on. And if they want Sonya to be somebody who is intimidating, to be somebody that everybody should be scared of, well, make her that way. Have her in someone's face. Don't let her let up. Have her go over there and threaten Ruby Riott. I don't care if you're hurt or not. You should have did what when I put on that hold, you should have tapped. And since you didn't tap, I'm going to make you pay for that. I'm going to make you tap twice now. Something like that. And next time I'm going to break your ankle. Something to that effect, where you feel it, you know it when she says it, and be done. Now, maybe they're not doing that for a reason. Maybe she's not comfortable in that. Or maybe Shayna Baszler is going to be that person, and they're not allowing Sonya to be that. I don't know. But it's just kind of odd to me. They're kind of made her the bully, but she's not very bully-esque.
I thought she said she was going to break it after they agreed to the match. Like, heal up so I can break it.
I think she did say that. Or I thought she maybe said something to the effect of, I should have broke it, and she said, yeah, you should have broke it or something. I don't know. I can't. I watched it probably about 16 hours ago since this conversation.
That's fair.
Memory's not so good. But no, I mean, she did say it, but I'm going to tell you, it wasn't effective. I don't feel it was effective because otherwise my memory would be clear on it. So that's where you got to do those kind of things if you ask me personally, because still she may have said that, but it wasn't to the effect of I believed it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. Her poise and her sort of, I guess, stature and how she delivered wasn't very good at all. So stuff she's going to have to learn, obviously. She's still pretty new.
Yeah, I'm rooting for her. I don't want people to think I'm hating. I really am rooting because I think Sonya, has a battle to fight, and I think she'll do it. I do have concerns for her for the fact that we do have Shayna Baszler coming up, and when Shayna gets here, I'm really worried if Sonya doesn't get ahead of the game, she's going to get lost really fast.
It's true. There's a lot of names coming in, so you got to find your place quick and hold on. The Street Profits are hanging out in like the foyer area of the Full Sail Arena. I guess a guy comes in trying to deliver a suit to Tino Sabbatelli, and the Profits. Montez says, "Hey man, I'm Tino Sabbatelli," and they sort of, mockingly make fun of Tino as they take the suit and look at it and marvel at how pretty it is. And that's when Tino and Riddick Moss show up and say, "Hey dude, quit messing with our stuff." And this leads to a match next week. Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't like this more. I mean, these guys are really pushing the cups. You like it, right? Hey, you need to get these cups. These cups are really awesome. Hey, I like those cups too. I saw them at, I think, Kroger or something like that. Trying to get, sorry, alienate people that don't have a Kroger. It's a grocery store. Anyway, I really thought this was nice. It was nothing. It was super funny, super spectacular, but it worked to continue the feud, right? I mean, they're doing these small little things to showcase that, these two guys, let's just say both tag teams are on different fences. One tag team's more on the party scene, more on the street side, and the other one's all about being fancy and rich. Mm-hmm. And, you did mention, and it's kind of very true, and I think it's an okay part of it too. You also can kind of play the race card here because you have two African American men and two Caucasian guys. Yeah. And it's that whole, this feels like a scenario we see in social places, and let's see how this goes down. So that's fine too. I'm not making it a big political thing, but I think it's great. I think it's kind of a fun thing, and these are little things that they got to do to build it up, because they're not going to build it up out there and chat back and forth in the ring. Because I'll be honest with you, Sabatelli's not going to blow you away on the mic, and neither is his Moss. So they've got to play these games so you believe in what they're doing. So hey, do what they're doing. This is the way to do it. Please don't get in the ring and do what I said. So I'm happy.
I don't have a problem with it. It's sort of there, Main event time. Adam Cole takes on Roderick Strong. And this was fine, right? It has the expected finish. You have Strong looking like he's got the leg up over Cole until Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly come out and pull Strong to the floor. We get this huge brawl. Everybody involved in the War Games match comes out, and people are throwing each other everywhere, and it's just a big chaotic angle to close the show, which is really cool. But with two guys in there like Roderick Strong and Adam Cole, you expect them to do a little bit more with the 10 minutes they were given.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is definitely not the week for a strong main event, and it kind of bums you out a little bit, because I was really excited about seeing this match. I thought, we're going to get a really good match here. These guys have battled it out before, so they'll give us something really solid. And then you get kind of a, hey, let's play around for a little while until they get here. And that's what happened.
Yep.
So, I don't think that this is the worst thing, but I just really don't like these kind of endings. I just don't. If we have, how far away is War Games now? I'm thinking, how many weeks we have?
It's not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after.
So we've got 2 NXTs before we get, or is it a 1?
Next week's to go home.
Oh, okay. So you still have a week. So honestly, this should have been pushed off till next week. And you should have had something else. I just, what are you going to do next week? Do this over again? That's my thing. Because usually, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I wager this is the go home segment for this feud, and next week we'll focus on everything else. Right? So this is something NXT does a lot, right? They'll address a feud for a couple weeks, and then they'll sort of let it sit. And I think that's what they're going to do with War Games here. They might do a promo or something like that, but I guarantee you that as far as in-ring stuff goes, this is probably the go home for that.
Oh, touche. There you go. That they do just that's fine. That this works okay. I still don't like it.
Yeah,
but it still works, and it is what it is. This is the classic WWE way of getting to that big event. Hey, everybody's here. But here's the one thing I will say. So we got the match built up. It's going to be super exciting. I think this is all going to work out. Peachy creamy. Really excited. Super stoked that you're going to be there in person. Here's the one thing I've got to ask you, and I was thinking about this watching this show. You got guys like Adam Cole coming into this situation with NXT, which we all have high expectations. Guys like me and you who follow the product and, not WB, we follow Ring of Honor, we follow the Indies, other play New Japan, other places. And so we were super excited about Adam Cole. We've been super excited about Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, guys like that. But Adam Cole's the one I want to point to because he's kind of supposedly the bigger dog here. How have you felt so far with Adam Cole being here? Do you feel like Adam Cole is Adam Cole, or do you feel like this is just kind of him, kind of light?
I mean, all the pieces are here, right? You have the Adam Cole baby. You've had his couple good promos from him, all that good stuff. And as far as the great matches go, I think that'll come in time. Because I mean, obviously, the focus isn't on Adam Cole and Red Dragon. It's on the Undisputed Era, them as a group being built up this way. I have to remind myself of that too, because I'm used to Adam Cole coming out and just giving these blowaway performances and really drawing you into things, and it's not strictly about Cole yet, right? Which I think is sort of why I'm willing to give him a pass on the match with EY and this with Strong, is because it's pieces to a bigger picture that is what the Undisputed Era angle is supposed to be, and whether that ends up with him eventually challenging for the NXT title while Red Dragon challenges for the NXT tag titles come TakeOver in January, I assume will be the next one, or something else, the picture, like the camera isn't just him right now. You know, he's not standing alone in the picture. It's this big, huge thing they have going on right now. But I agree with you. If you've heard all the hype about Adam Cole, he hasn't really given you a lot of reasons, I think, to believe the hype yet.
And, you know, those are all great points. And, you know, I think I need to be more on that line of thinking of it's about the Undisputed Era. It's not about Adam Cole. It's not about Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. So saying that, the next question I have for you is, are you happy that that's the case? Or would you rather just have Adam Cole by himself?
Well, I don't know. I think it's a great way to give Fish and O'Reilly a way to sort of either practice on their promos or maybe you know, just let them sort of get situated in a new role. Because I think Adam Cole is in a place that is strictly built for him right now, right? It's a place that has a lot of focus on the promo ability, but you also need to bring it in the ring as far as NXT goes. And I think he has all the tools to do that, and especially once he gets up to the main roster, he's set for life. Fish and O'Reilly, on the other hand, I think have different parts of the equation that they want to either let them get really strong on first or something else. And I'm not saying that Bobby Fish is a bad promo. He's a great promo, which Kyle, however, is not a very strong promo, if you ask me. He has good ones every once in a while, but he's not that guy, you know. And O'Reilly is obviously, I think, stronger in the ring as opposed to Bobby. But, of course, youth and all that other stuff is on his side as well. So I think Adam Cole is the complete picture that WWE wants right now, and I think that's sort of why he's front and center as opposed to Red Dragon. And to that end, I think this works out well because they all complement each other very well. There's legit friendship here between them as far as outside the ring stuff, and it all makes sense if you follow these guys. Would I prefer them to be sort of standalone? I don't know. I liked the idea from the onset of there being sort of an ROH invasion, quote-unquote, stable here. So I can't really say I've been disappointed with that because I think NXT television has been phenomenal since these guys have showed up together as a group and sort of changed the landscape. Them singles-wise or you know, single in a tag, I think would have been just fine as well. I don't know if we would have had such captivating television, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. And those are some good points. And I think that, you know, for myself, as much as I think, oh, man, you could really have, you know, a great situation for Adam Cole by himself and, you know, just hope that Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly do their own thing together. You know, they'll help each other. Adam Cole doesn't need him. They don't need him. They'll be okay. You know, he'll do his thing. But, I mean, what they're doing with the Undisputed Era, I think you have a point. And this makes more of an impact, I think, on what they're doing, the history that you're going to have in NXT, that great opportunity you're going to have where technically this is Ring of Honor versus NXT, even though, you know, that's unofficial.
Right.
So, I mean, I think there's a lot here. I just had that question, you know, and nothing serious, anything out of the ordinary. I think this is just something I had on my mind. I thought I'd pick your brain on it. And, you know, you bring up some great points. And it's really
would you
interesting.
prefer them to be separate?
You know, I don't know. It's really hard for me to answer that same question for the reasons you just kind of answered too, because in a way I wanted it to be separate. In a way I wanted to have Adam Cole come out and showcase what he can do. But the good thing about this is he's not blowing it all at one swoop, right? He's not giving us everything he's got and then, you know, in a year we're like, okay, we've seen everything Adam Cole's got in NXT. Let's move on. Right now, he's playing that slow game of, hey, I get a little bit of here, a little bit of there, and that builds on to new, bigger, better things. So I think they're doing it the right way. It just kind of made me question. And I ask these questions not based just for myself, but I asked them based on people who don't know who Adam Cole is from Adam.
Right.
From, you know, if they get it, you know, Adam from Adam.
I was with you. Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of corny. But, you know, seriously, I mean, that's, you know, kind of the way I look at it. So there you go. That's an interesting fact of this, and I think this is going to be really great for what we're getting here leading up to the Undisputed Era and getting mixed up with these great groups. I mean, Sanity, they're nothing to play with, and the fact that you got a talented guy like Ron teaming with two behemoths and the Authors of Pain. boy, I can't wait to War Games. So, but we have to wait, and we got another episode of this show to do before we get a chance to review War Games. So, we'll get through it though, Paul.
Absolutely, I can't wait. Next week looks big. You have the face-to-face, you have Moon and Martinez, and you have Street Profits versus Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss all already on the schedule. So they keep giving you reasons to come back week after week, and that's been really, really great for NXT these last 3-4 months now. I think it's really been can't miss TV.
Oh yeah, right there with you. So there you go. All right, well, we are done with this NXT. We appreciate all of you that have joined us. We've had a blast, and we hope you have too. Make sure you come check out all the other review shows that we do. Me and Paul do Monday Night Raw. Then you have Harry Broadhurst and Liz Puglisi. They do SmackDown Live and 205 Live, so you guys need to go check those shows out as well. So make sure you go do that. And also, our regular episodes of Wrestling to the Max. We'll be doing part 2 of episode 272, where we'll be talking some Impact Wrestling following Bound for Glory. We'll also be jumping into some big news topics from this past week and, kind of give you some other things in the world of wrestling. So you don't want to miss that episode. We're going to have a blast. We can't wait to do it. And, so there you go. Make sure you go check out W2Mnet.com, place where you go get all your great wrestling needs and a lot more. And don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, rate and review when you go find us on wherever you get your podcast from. Just search out Wrestling to the Max, and there you go. Big love over at ForOneMania.com and Last Word on ProWrestling.com. Both amazing sites. Go check them out. We are out of here, guys. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll catch you down the road.
Have a good one, guys.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.